how big was your caseload? Like when you started using Stafi, how would you describe your caseload and your an amount of work and what you were dealing with and the circumstances of your firm at the time when Stafi was introduced to you?
When I was first introduced to Staffy, I was looking for someone to help me. I was completely solo. I had started off as originally, when I first started, I was doing primarily employment-based EB-2 national interest waiver visas. That was my bread and butter. That's what I did. I had a team. I had a lot of clients. It was a big operation. After COVID, I scaled it all back. I ended up with one attorney and then I ended up just on my own. So then it was just me needing to kind of reinvent what I was doing. I was still taking referrals for the EB2s, but they were a little bit slower. I just wasn't having as much coming in that way. And so I decided that I needed to have the ability to do different sorts of visas. So I ended up becoming an independent counsel with a law firm that sort of sources out their leads and then gave me the ability to do all kinds of different family-based and different things that I wanted to do. And so that, in conjunction with the EB2s, then started to become quite big after time. So I really needed help. I was by myself. I am a mother to two children. I am primarily responsible for taking care of them. My husband has a very time-consuming job and he travels a lot. So I needed flexibility, but I needed to be able to get my work done. So I was introduced to Stafi. I found my paralegal through there. He has been wonderful. It's been a wonderful experience working with him. He is only part-time. I wasn't sure what commitment I could commit to in the beginning, so I started off with him part-time. Even with him, as the time went on, it just became clear that the two of us together weren't able to get it all done either. I just needed additional help, and so that's why I decided to do the outsourcing with Stafi, because I wasn't sure that it would maintain this level. I know that it ebbs and flows, so I wasn't really prepared to take on a whole nother paralegal or any other type of assistant yet. So I decided to use the outsourcing, and that's kind of how I got to where I am now.
Excellent. So you actually seem like the ideal candidate for outsourcing, especially when someone who's trying to match their talents and their support with the workload. So you can scale up, scale down as your workload comes in. And so one of the goals that we have, so if you hadn't had Stafi Outsourcing and you were thinking about all the cases you had, our goal was to give you that time back. So the time you would have been spending working on these cases, and it sounds like it would have been really difficult with all the demands on your time. So we are working on these cases for you. So we've given you time back. So this is time that you don't have to spend on these cases. What are you doing with that time that you're not? So now you've got cases, you're not having to do it. What are you doing with this time we gave you back?
Well, I'm not really capitalizing on the time that I have gotten back yet. I hope to in the future, but I am still playing catch up with all of the cases that I have. And we had a big influx over the holidays, so I'm still trying to get all of those out. So I probably do need additional help in addition,
Okay. So we
local help, but yeah. So right now, it's just allowing me the ability to focus on the cases, maybe not have so much stress trying to push out so many at one time, but
yes,
I hope to one day have the time back to do something.
Ooh. And what would you do with that time back?
I would probably spend more time with my family, a little bit more time with my kids after school and things like that. Maybe not stay up so late every night. That would probably be the first priority. Maybe get a little bit more sleep.
That's our goal, right? That is our goal. Okay.
Yeah.
So we would love to help you get there.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever worked with other outsourcing services in the past? And if so, how would you compare your experience with Stafi?
I have done some outsourcing, very little. When I do national interest waiver visas, I do use other companies sometimes to help with certain documents. So I have done that a little bit, but that's a limited involvement. It's not, they're not communicating with the client and they're not doing the whole case. They're just preparing one document. Now, I did have one experience where I completely outsourced an entire employment case to a different company. And that I was kind of doing that. I did that right before I started the outsourcing with Stafi. I think at the time you were doing mostly, I don't know if you do E2s, but at the time you were doing the family-based primarily. So that's what I was focused on there. But the difference is they didn't have any type of a system where you guys have your whole system where you can see what's going on. So I didn't have access to any of that. I was in communication with someone who would let me know what was going on and, providing me checklists, and I needed to provide it. I wasn't having that person interact with my client. So it was all going back and forth through me. So it was a different experience entirely, but.
Okay, great. Oh, yeah. And we are adding immigration packages every day. So we need to make sure to give you an updated pricing schedule because, yes, we always so if you want us to add it, we would love to consider it. So I'm going to take that as let me know when you start doing those because, we'll let you know. Because we definitely are adding them daily, mainly because of the requests that we're getting from clients. Let's see. Now, so this is another question. So this is part of our value that we bring to law firms is, so having it on demand, on a case-by-case basis, rather than having an on-site staff member, dedicated staff member, how positively do you think that's affecting? I think you mentioned it earlier, but how valuable is that on-demand aspect of our service?
By on-demand, you mean
whenever you need it. So you don't have a minimum amount that you need to devote every month and you just use us when you need us.
Now that's very helpful because, everything fluctuates. Sometimes I have a lot, sometimes I don't have a lot, and I'm trying to get more and I don't want to be paying someone to do something that I don't need them to be doing. So that is very valuable to me. So in my personal situation in my law firm, that works for me because when I need it, I can utilize it. When I don't need it, I don't have to. So that's incredibly beneficial.
Okay. And so here's another broad question is what are the features? I think you mentioned, I got a little taste of the visibility we give to your process, but what other features of our process that you find valuable and useful as you're utilizing our service?
I like that, I can see what communication is happening, that I have access to all the documents that have been uploaded by the client, and that in the end that I get the whole package together. If I have any questions for anyone during the process, I can reach out and ask. If I need edits after it's been sent to me, you guys have been willing to do those edits and give it back to me. So that has been all very good.
Okay, so yes, I'm an attorney too. So I think part of our thinking about is if I were in your shoes. So is there anything that you think would actually make things easier for you? So we're always trying to tweak and make sure that we're giving as much value. What would be if you had a wish list and you say, because sometimes we can't do it, but it would be great to get your input on if there's some part of the process that would even make things more easier for you, what would that be? What would be your wish list?
When I get the weekly recap of what has happened in the case, it's assigned by a number. And
yes.
I don't know who is who. I don't know.
Oh, you want us to add the client name? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Well, I'm saying yes to that right now. Okay. So think of something bigger because you got that one. I'm going to just tell them to add that to the next report that comes out. So if you can think of something bigger that, because we are constantly tweaking, I have a product team as we get more and more feedback from our clients, we can actually build even more features into our process. So what would be a big, if you could think of something and it could be a little out there, we may not be able to do it, but if we can make this process easier, what would that be?
Well, I don't know how you handle, because I haven't had to do it yet, but online filings. So if you could do the online filings and then I submitted it, that would be great.
Oh, like a DS-260? Do you have a specific?
DS-260, DS-160.
Okay.
USCIS online applications. So sometimes, when I do an I-130, I'm gonna, if I'm doing it with adjustment of status, I'm most likely not going to use USCIS online. But if I am just doing the I-130, I'm going to, because it's simpler. So,
well, we've tested it.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we've done the DS-260.
Okay.
And so just to give you an example how that went, is they gave us access to the SEAC, and so we were able to prepare the forms and answer the questions for the attorney, save it so we don't submit it, and then the attorney comes in and reviews everything, and then they're able to submit from there. And we did give them a hard copy so they're not trying to go through our work on the screen. They can review it in a PDF version. That is, so we haven't tested it out on the I-130, but we have done it. That's our version. Our version of an online filing support was with the DS-260.
Okay. I know USCIS is difficult because you
Yeah,
can't
the
really.
accessing of the account by us. So I've had another client mention that. So that is on, I'm going to put that on the product team to say, because, with technology, maybe there's a way for us to give you the data that makes it easy for you to do the online filing. So you're the second client to request this. So I'm like, okay, we got to get our product team on this.
Okay.
Okay.